Hey folks, it's Slasher here, and today we're tackling one of the most incredible elements in gaming: what makes a good video game boss. Boss fights aren't just roadblocks, they're the climaxes that can make or break a game, testing your skills, tugging at your heartstrings, and leaving you with memories that stick for years, sometimes even haunting your dreams or inspiring real-life reflections on perseverance and loss. But what separates a forgettable slog from a legendary showdown? I want to explore the individual qualities that define a good boss fight, and here's the hook. By the end of this video, I'll reveal the one ultimate boss that, in my opinion, nails every single one of these qualities. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. It's a fight that redefined what a boss can be, blending raw challenge with profound emotional layers that linger long after the credits roll. If you're still around, smash that like button early. Subscribe for more deep dives into game design, and let's jump in. First up, a good boss needs to provide a fair but demanding challenge. This isn't about cheap one-shots or random luck that leaves you feeling cheated. It's about a meticulously crafted test that pushes you to the brink, forcing you to internalize the game's mechanics on a visceral level. Psychologically, it taps into that elusive flow state where time blurs, your focus sharpens, and every failure becomes a stepping stone to mastery. It's emotionally deep because it mirrors life's own trials. Resilience in the face of adversity, the catharsis of overcoming what once seemed impossible. A prime example is Ishin, the sword saint from Sekiro. Emerging from the ashes of a war-torn world, Ishin embodies the game's philosophy of hesitation is defeat. His phases escalate from elegant sword dances to spear thrusts and lightning redirects, demanding flawless parries and posture management that you've honed throughout the journey. Each death stings not with frustration, but with self-reflection. What did I miss? How can I adapt? People often describe the fight as transformative, evoking a profound sense of accomplishment that borders on spiritual. It's not just beating a boss, it's conquering your own doubts. In game design terms, it's a culmination that validates hours of struggle, turning raw skill into an emotional high that few experiences can match. And then there's his defeat. As Ishin falls, he offers a final nod of respect, acknowledging your growth, and has his final moment. This moment, after countless retries, floods you with a rush of validation and closure, tying into the game's themes of legacy and mastery. But a hard boss isn't always a good boss. The next quality is narrative integration. A boss shouldn't feel like a disconnected hurdle. They must be woven into the fabric of the story, amplifying themes and character arcs to create a showdown that's as intellectually engaging as it is action-packed. This fosters emotional investment, turning the fight into a pivotal moment that resonates on a human level, perhaps exploring betrayal, redemption, or the cost of power. It hits hard because it forces you to really confront the story's weight, blending adrenaline with introspection. Take the boss from Metal Gear Solid 3, a figure who isn't a cartoonish villain but a complex mentor, patriot, and tragic hero caught in the web of Cold War espionage. The fight unfolds in a vast flower field under a tense timer, blending sniper duels, close quarters combat, and stealth takedowns that echo the game's themes of loyalty and sacrifice. As you trade blows, the emotional layers peel back. She's the woman who trained you, yet duty demands her death. The final moments, with petals scattering like lost innocence, evoke a profound sorrow. Design-wise, it's masterful integration. The mechanics serve the story, making the victory feel hollow, a deep commentary on the futility of war that lingers, prompting you to reflect on conflict and loss. And then there's her death. As she lies wounded, the boss hands over her bandana and urges you to pull the trigger. Her last words a mix of pride and resignation. This act, forced upon you in a first-person view, shatters the illusion of agency, amplifying the game's exploration of manipulated fates. By this stage, you've navigated a web of deceptions and moral ambiguities, building a bond that's now severed, evoking waves of grief and regret that transform the win into a pyrrhic scar, compelling you to ponder the true cost of allegiance and the enduring pain of necessary betrayals. Okay, I know what you're thinking. We're talking about games here, so can we talk about gameplay? Well, another truly essential quality is mechanical variety and phases. Stagnant, repetitive fights drain the soul from a battle. Truly great bosses evolve dynamically, introducing layered phases with new attacks, environmental shifts, or ability combos that demand constant adaptation. This escalation builds narrative tension, mirroring a story's rising action, while emotionally, it simulates growth amid chaos. The thrill of survival turning to empowerment as you unravel the puzzle. Hear me out with this one, because this might be one of my personal favorites of all time. Sans from Undertale exemplifies this with subversive brilliance. What begins as a seemingly light-hearted encounter in the Judgment Hall spirals into a nightmarish bullet hell symphony. Bones erupt in patterns, gravity inverts your world, and attacks invade the menu itself, throwing a real spanner in the works of RPG conventions. The phases are psychological warfare, wearing you down with relentless variety that forces creative dodging and timing. Emotionally, it's a gut punch. Sans laid-back quips hide a weary guardian's despair, making each reset feel like grinding against fate. From a design perspective, it innovates by genre-blending turn-based combat with shmup elements, creating a deeply personal ordeal that comments on determination and mercy, leaving you exhausted yet profoundly moved by the underlying tragedy of a character who just wants the cycle to end. And then, there's his death. After finally landing the killing blow, Sans doesn't explode in rage. He casually accepts it, dusting away with a final, heartbreaking line. This mention of his brother Papyrus, who you've already slaughtered in the genocide route leading to this fight, by the way, hits like a dagger. By this point in the game, you're steeped in a mounting sense of guilt and isolation, having systematically erased every bond and spark of joy in the underground. Sans' last words amplify that emotional void, forcing you to confront the irreversible consequences of your actions, turning what could be a triumphant victory into a hollow, regret-filled silence. But who doesn't love a bang, right? That's why for the next essential quality, we're moving on to visual and audio spectacle. A boss should overwhelm the senses, with breathtaking animations, dynamic environments, and a soundtrack that pulses with the fight's rhythm, elevating the encounter to operatic heights. This isn't superficial flair. It's immersive artistry that amplifies emotional stakes, making triumph feel godlike and failure crushing. The Nameless King from Dark Souls 3 captures this in a storm-ravaged sky arena, astride a thunderous dragon amid crackling lightning and howling winds. Phase 1 soars with aerial dives and fire breaths. Then, dismounted, his halberd unleashes sweeping combos synced to an orchestral crescendo that swells like a divine fury. The spectacle ties into themes of forgotten gods and hubris, evoking awe and isolation. The vast, crumbling world below mirrors your solitude in the fight. Emotionally, it's exhilarating, yet melancholic. The king's regal decay, stirring pity amid the chaos. Insightfully, this sensory barrage triggers primal responses, blending fear and wonder in a design that makes the boss a living myth, one whose defeat echoes with the thunder of fallen legacies. Now, of course, this is a game, and of course you kill him. But as the Nameless King crumples, the storm subsides, leaving only echoing silence and a faint, fading roar. A moment that strips away the grandeur, revealing a hollowed monarch's end. A boss can be hard, but what makes a good boss is when you can accept when you still have more to learn and you've been outdone. Can you tell I'm not a Millennia fan? Learnability and pattern recognition, in my opinion, is the final essential quality. Exceptional bosses telegraph their moves with clear cues, allowing players to decode patterns through trial and error, transforming chaos into choreography. This fosters a deep, emotional arc, from initial overwhelm to euphoric mastery, mirroring personal growth and the joy of enlightenment. Ornstein and Smaug from the original Dark Souls are the duo that defines this, guardians of Anor Lundo's illusory grandeur. Ornstein's lightning-fast spear charges contrast Smaug's earth-shaking hammer smashes, their synergy creating a deadly ballet where space management and prioritization are key. Patterns are consistent, yet remix in combos with audio grunts and visual winds-ups as lifelines. Piecing together their rhythms brings empowerment, a testament to your adaptability. Design-wise, it's a feedback masterpiece. Failures teach without punishing arbitrarily, turning the fight into a profound lesson in observation and strategy, where victory feels like outwitting gods, leaving a lasting sense of intellectual triumph. And then there's their defeat. When one falls, the survivor absorbs their power, Ornstein growing massive with lightning if Smaug dies first, or vice versa, culminating in a final empowered clash before both crumble. This absorption mechanic, symbolizing corrupted unity, delivers a surge of vindication mixed with unease. By this point, you've unraveled Einar Londo's illusions of divinity, exposing the god's fragility, so the duo's end reinforces themes of false idols and perseverance. All right, we've covered the qualities: fair challenge, narrative depth, variety, spectacle, learnability, and resonance. But what boss nails them all? Now, I know some people will likely disagree, but in my book, it's Slave Knight Gale from Dark Souls 3's The Ringed City DLC. This warrior starts as a desperate ally, but becomes the final apocalypse, embodying the series' themes of endless cycles and hollowing. Mechanically, it's just incredible. 3 phases escalating from swordplay to lightning storms and blood magic, demanding perfect timing and adaptation. Is it fair? Absolutely. Patterns are learnable without a doubt. Is there a bit spectacle? I mean, the frickin' arena transforms into a desert wasteland with crazy orchestral swells. Does the narrative hold up? Gale's quest for the Dark Soul ties into the world's decay, making his defeat bittersweet. Emotionally, he's a tragic mirror to the player, fighting for pigment in a fading world. It's the ultimate boss, because it doesn't just test you, it philosophizes through combat, leaving you reflective of all of your actions gone. As Gale succumbs, gasping for the blood that sustains his madness, he whispers fragments of his shattered vow, the vast ash desert swallowing his form in eternal silence. This, after witnessing his descent from humble knight to ravenous monster, resonates with the game's overarching lament on humanity's insatiable hunger. By the DLC's end, you've traversed eons of faded glories and personal hollowings, making Gale's fall a poignant reflection of your own futile pursuits, evoking a melancholy that encapsulates Dark Souls' essence. Victory as the quiet prelude to oblivion, urging introspection on desire, decay, and the meaning of purpose in that universe. If this breakdown got you thinking, smash like and subscribe to the channel. I'm sure you won't agree with my pick, so let me know in the comments who you think the ultimate boss is. See you all next time.